Jefferson's Louisiana Purchase had doubled the territory of the United States, extending into the Rocky Mountains.
The Manifest Destiny motivated Americans to move further and further to the west, buying territories from Europe. The United States became a large country, but it wanted more and more, including the Texas region of Mexico.
Eventually, the U.S. helped Texas defeat Mexico and win independence in 1836.
Texas renamed itself the Lone Star Republic. The U.S. asked Texas to join the United States, but Mexico did not approve its independence. Mexico slaughtered Texans and forced Texas to follow Mexican rules.
However, the U.S. annexed Texas in 1845.
Texas became the 28th state, and the U.S. and Mexico were in imminent danger of getting involved in war. In addition to Texas, the U.S. wanted California.
President Polk unsuccessfully attempted to purchase California from Mexico for $25 million in 1845.
The U.S. didn't want to take California by force, so it asked Mexico that it wanted to buy California, but it did not work out. The U.S. became nervous and furious when Mexico refused its proposal.
The U.S. moved its troops from the Nueces River to the Rio Grande River because it wanted to keep expanding its territory. No one could stop the U.S.'s desire to expand.
The idea of Manifest Destiny did not leave Americans' heads, and one wanted to dominate the whole continent. The U.S. felt that it was its mission to spread its belief.
War broke out between the U.S. and Mexico after 16 American casualties were reported between the Rio Grande River and the Nueces River.
The U.S. blamed Mexico for the war because the territory between the two rivers is American territory.
Polk said, "Mexico has passed the boundary of the United States, has invaded our territory, and shed American blood upon the American soil."
The U.S. claimed that Mexico invaded the U.S. territory, so it was pressured to have the war and fight for the peace. Even though the U.S. had been nice to Mexico, Mexico was clearly taking advantage of the country.
Polk declared to Congress, "Despite all our efforts to avoid a clash, hostilities had been enforced upon the country by the shedding of American blood upon American soil."
The U.S. did not want the war, but it is having one because Mexico destroyed Americans' habitats and properties. Mexico is evil and its government is corrupt.
However, the U.S. defeated Mexico in the Mexican-American War in 1848.
The U.S. won because it had a more powerful army, better weapons, and it wanted to end the war as soon as possible.
The U.S. sent 111,000 soldiers into combat and reported 13,000 deaths. Mexico sent 60,000 soldiers into combat and reported 25,000 deaths.
Even though the U.S. had a larger army, more Mexican soldiers died because they were fighting without plans.
The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo confirmed the U.S. claim to Texas, ceded California to the U.S., ceded the Oregon Territory to the U.S., ceded territory east of the California to the U.S., and required the U.S. to pay Mexico $15 million.
The U.S. paid Mexico because it felt bad. Mexico started the war, and losing it is embarrassing. Also, the U.S. did not want to look like it took the territories by force and started the war.